Hey everybody, delighted that you are here. Moving forward, Stephen Shomler videos will be about my personal journey and a lot about what's going on in my inner world, my inward expedition, as I like to call it. I'm working on a video about October 23rd last year. A lot of cool stuff happened in my inner journey October 23rd, so working on a video about that. Content and videos about our move in Mexico and our new life here in Mexico that we're building. You'll find those over on the Nueva Vida Puerto Vallarta YouTube channel, so I invite you to go check those out. But anyways, hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I had an absolutely delightful Christmas season. I love Christmas, the Christmas carols, Christmas mugs. I just really enjoy it. I had a lot of really good adventures, incredible meals, but no need to make a 5-hour video covering all of that. But there are 5 stories I want to talk to you about today coming out of my Christmas experience. And then you'll see as this video unfolds, it's the perfect time to begin talking about Nash the Wonder Dog. And you're in luck. 3 of those 5 videos all deserve preambles. My wife, Casey, right now is rolling her eyes as she watches this video. When I sit down to tell her a story, I say, I got a story for you, and then I got a preamble. And she always chuckles and laughs. And it's maybe a preface or introduction is better, but my storytelling style, at least with her, is more to like, okay, here's the story, but let me set the stage, give you some background. Because I think the reason I do that is I always like stories more when I know some of the background, what's going on, what led to it, what makes this story really special. So 3 of those 5 stories will get one of my patented Stephen Shomler preambles. So story number 1. There's a vile rumor going around the household that there's a sad truth that I now need to wear readers. You know, when I'm watching videos on my phone or doing social media or reading a book, I now need to wear reading glasses. And the vile rumor is that I always lose my reading glasses and then abscond with my wife's glasses. And that vile rumor may actually be true. And a really fun gift for me, really enjoyed it. It may seem simple and silly to you guys, but I really enjoyed it. I opened up a box Christmas morning, and inside were 5 different reading glasses, different colors. And now I've got one downstairs in the living room. I've got stashed in a couple different places up here in El Corazon, our creative studio. By the way, this is my first time filming up here. Figuring out light and sound in a new space is always interesting. Eventually I'll do a video about El Corazon, our creative studio, but I absolutely love it up here. It is just wonderful. So we're blessed to have a 2-story unit, and our second floor is where El Corazon, the heart, our creative studio is located. So man, I love these reading glasses. They are delightful to me. They are fantastic. The second story I have for you also deeply involves El Corazon, our creative studio. And the preamble for that one is that I've discovered my workflow when I'm working, when I'm being creative, when I'm sitting at my computer and editing photos or writing content or doing social media, or I'm sitting down. We've got 2 really cool chairs we recently purchased that we put up here in our studio, and I will show pictures of those in a second. When I sit in my really cool rock and roll, black and silver chair, and I'm reading, or I'm doing social media, all of those different activities, I listen to headphones. Now, I have some headphones I listen to plugged into my computer when I'm editing video, because you have to hear sound or editing podcasts. But when I'm not editing video and I'm not editing podcasts, but I am working, I have some Beats headphones I have put on. I hook them up to my phone, Bluetooth connection, and then I have a number of different playlists that just help me. And what it does for me creatively is it distracts my brain. It keeps me focused on editing photos, or helps me keep my brain busy while I'm writing content or, writing books. So I just found it a really cool thing for headphones. And my poor wife, when my headphones are on, I can't hear her. And so she has to come up the stairs to get my attention. And every time she comes upstairs and she walks into my field of view just to get my attention, she's headed out the door to walk the dog, or she's got to take care of something. I jump, I startle, and she's every time like, I'm sorry, I don't know. It's like, it's okay. But the headphones really help me dial in and focus. And so I opened up another gift Christmas morning, and it was this box, and it is absolutely incredible. I love branding things. And it is a headphone holder. Well, I can put my Beat headphones on it, but it is labeled, get this, I'll put up a video, I'll put up a photo, El Corazon. It lights up in different colors. I can have it circulating through colors, or I can have it stay just on purple or green or red and any of the variety of colors. And I tell you, that's just such a special gift. I loved it. It just made my heart sing. All right, 2 more gifts I got Christmas morning and talked to you about. Gifts from my stepkids, Zach and Nora. They were down here at Puerto Vallarta with us for Christmas season. I say stepkids because some people look at photos of Zach, my stepson, and say, that's not Zach Shomler. In fact, November 23rd, I did an Instagram post and a Facebook post about how this past summer, I got to fly back to Portland and help move Zach, my stepson, from Portland to Seattle. We had an incredible trip, a great journey. Go read my posts on Instagram and Facebook about it. And had so many people saying, I was so confused at first because that photo is not Zach Shomler. So yes, there are 3 adult Zach kids in our family. That's a fun story for another time. But 2 more Christmas gifts, those that I'll talk about in a second. Those are from Zach and Nora. But this story number 3, it is about an incredible trip I took on Monday, December 21st, a few days before Christmas. In the evening, went down to the Los Muertos Beach Pier. It's just before the beginning of the Malecon. I love this pier. You can walk out on it. You can swim around it. It's beautiful. In fact, I use photos of it, evening photos and daytime photos, in my Happy New Year and Merry Christmas posts that I did on social media. So I wanted to go down there and, content creator, I need content. I wanted to shoot some footage and shoot some video some video and some photos of this pier at Christmas decorated up. And Zach and Nora joined me, as did my beloved brother-in-law, Uncle John. And so 4 of us headed down, and I start taking photos and shooting video, and Zach and Nora are like, this is boring. We're going to walk the Malecon, So they, as we talked about, so they walked down the Malecon with Uncle John, and they were going to enjoy all the ways that the Malecon is decorated for Christmas, and then find a place to get a bite to eat. And the Malecon is a wide concrete path that they built in, road basically, right along the ocean that goes down Puerto Vallarta. And I love walking the Malecon early in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. For Christmas, they decorate the Malecon beautifully. Dia de los Muertos, they decorate the Malecon. We had some great photos of that. I went and took photos in late October of the Malecon decorated for Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. And then one of the things I really appreciate about the Malecon is they've got statues. They have a permanent statue. That's where the boy on the seahorse statue is. It's kind of iconic symbol of Puerto Vallarta. But then they have other statues that are permanent, and then statues that kind of come and go, whether they're just for Dia de los Muertos or they're for 2 or 3 months at a time. And so it's a great place to appreciate art. Anyways, enough about that. Check out the Malecon. If you come to Puerto Vallarta, you have got to walk the Malecon. It is fantastic. If you're going to need to take an Uber, I recommend have the Uber drop you off at La Palapa, which is a really fantastic restaurant. I'm getting to write a celebrating Puerto Vallarta.com article about La Palapa. That's a little teaser of a project I have coming. I've had great breakfast there. I've had great dinner there. It's the oldest restaurant in Puerto Vallarta. It's right on the beach. But if you get dropped off there, the Uber drivers know where it is. And then you just start walking north, and pretty soon you'll come to the pier. You can check out the pier and walk along the pier and walk out onto it. And then you catch the Malecon just a little bit past, if you're walking north, a little bit past the pier. Now walk all the way to the end of the Malecon. Currently it ends right now about Rosarita Hotel. And then you pick up your Uber, and depending on where you're staying, and head back to your room. Or if you're staying right there in one of those neighborhoods right on the Malecon, then you just walk back to your room. So I guess that was a tangent, but back to my evening trip. I took all my photos, I shot all my video. I'll put some video from that adventure up at the end of this video so you can see them, the pier lit up at night. But I checked my WhatsApp. Everybody uses WhatsApp down here. It's a preferred communication method, and Nora had messaged me and that they were at La Posta. They'd walked quite a ways down the Malecon. They found a really fun restaurant. They were having dinner. So I caught up with them. I wasn't too hungry. They were having good pizza, and we got to sit in the upstairs, the second floor. And I had a piece of pizza. It was really good, but I noticed some cocktails on the menu. I was like, oh, these cocktails sound amazing. The first one, I think my pronunciation's correct, but it's Malia, and it was just fantastic. I'll put a picture up. It was raicilla and watermelon, or sandia, if you will, and some basil and serrano chili pepper. It was hot. It was spicy. It was sweet. It was just perfectly balanced. The bartender did a phenomenal job. I've had much food at La Posta. The pizza I had was good, but the cocktails off the charts, phenomenal. So I mentioned raicilla. Some of you may not know what raicilla is. It's a heritage agave spirit. Different agave spirits down here in Mexico. You've got mezcal, a little bit of a smoky flavor. You've got tequila. You've got raicilla. There's not many places in the country of Mexico where you can make raicilla. It's very limited. It's kind of like champagne is made in the Champagne region to France, etc. But Raicilla is amazing. Behind us, behind all of Puerto Vallarta, is the Sierra Madre mountain range. Wake up in the morning from our back deck. We're blessed to have 3 decks in our home. We call it Casa Tranquila, and we have 2 decks looking out toward the front, one on our first floor and one on our first story, one of our second story. And then upstairs also, we have a back deck, and that back deck looks out at the Sierra Madre mountain range. But there used to be years ago lots of gold and silver mining in the Sierra Madres, and one of the things that the miners loved to drink was Raicilla. And Bob and Joan, who are neighbors of ours, become dear friends. I'll tell you about Bob and Joan in a second in this video. They heard that I like to create food content, travel content, introduced me to Alonzo. And so soon I'm going to be doing some podcasts, some content with Alonzo. So look forward to that. I'll do posts about that on my Facebook page and my Instagram account if you want to find out about Alonzo. But he started a company, his own Raicilla company. He's a gifted chef. He is an agave spirits expert. So I'll probably do a podcast with him about agave spirits. I'll do a podcast with him about his Raicilla company. So I've had his Raicilla. I've met with him recently. And so I saw this cocktail on the menu with Raicilla. I got to have it. I was so glad I did. The Mailía is phenomenal. And the second one I got, it was late. I had up my older reading glasses, which aren't as strong a prescription, and it was dark, and I'm looking down like Pie German. What kind of cocktail is Pie German? And then as I squinted and looked, oh, Pie Germain. And in talking to the server, they said, oh, it tastes like lemon meringue pie. And it had gin in it, which I absolutely love gin. So it had gin in it, this cocktail. It also had cookie, real live cookie, and lemon, and Saint Germain, which is a French elderflower liqueur. You know, I really should do a Culinary Treasure podcast about Saint Germain. So Arthur and Brian, you guys live in France. If you're listening, just set it up. I'll fly to France. We'll go to the distillery, do a podcast with them out there in France. That would be so much fun. But elderflower liqueur, Saint Germain, is a really interesting cocktail. You can make, or a liqueur, and you can make some really interesting cocktails with it. But I'm like, gin, Saint Germain, lemon, a cookie, condensed milk. I forgot condensed milk. Tastes like lemon meringue pie. Sign me up. I got it. It was phenomenal. It was blended, it was smooth, it was cool, it was creamy, it was incredibly flavorful. Very much did remind me of lemon meringue pie. It's one of those things that on a warm summer day I could drink a picture of. You know, and I need to recalibrate my expectations because every day is a warm summer day here. Now today it was cold. It got down to 67 degrees, which is cold here, but it will get up to 84 tonight. But I do have to tell you, and I'll mention this a little ahead in the video, but there's a difference between an 84-degree day in the winter and the spring than a 90-degree day, you know, what I call the indoor season, August, September, October, where it's 90 degrees and it feels like 106 or 107. But on one of those warmer days, I could have had a picture of these and then passed out. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal cocktail, the Pie Germain. So if you come down to Puerto Vallarta, I encourage you, head out La Posta. I for sure know the cocktails are amazing. All right, we're down to 2 more stories, Christmas stories, and then Nash the Wonder Dog. So these next 2 gifts are gifts that Zach and Nora got me for Christmas. They touched my heart. I loved it. So here's the preamble for the first of those 2 gifts. We bought a home fully furnished. Absolutely love. We named our home. We had our home up in the Pacific Northwest. We called Haven Home. We were calling this Haven Home South for a while, and now we call it Casa Tranquila. It's a haven. It's peaceful for us. We really enjoy it. We love our life here. It's a great place for us to make content and enjoy life. And we bought it fully furnished. And some of the furniture worked, some of it didn't. Like there's a couch that's okay, but we bought a couch Wednesday, new couch being delivered tomorrow. So 2 couches, super excited about that. One of the things that just didn't work for us was the TV. In fact, sometimes it just didn't work at all. And so we bought a new TV, and my wife sent me out to get one, and I found a really good deal on a 75-inch TV. And when I got back, my wife kind of looked at me like, you have lost your mind. But now she likes it. We put it up on this beautiful piece of furniture my wife picked out that we recently got. And when it's dark out and the TV is bright and beautiful, and we're sitting in the couch and we've got some popcorn. I tell you, the microwave popcorn here in Mexico is so good. There are some things here, food-wise, that I have had both here in Mexico and back in the United States. And I tell you, some of the Mexican stuff is so much better. The Mexican microwave popcorn is incredible. I love the butter better here. I love the half and half better here. Not to say that it's not good there, but it is, for me, so much better here. So I have a bowl of popcorn. It's dark. We turn the music, the sound up a little bit. We've been watching Discovery, Star Trek Discovery. My wife and I had our first date September 17th, 2017. Star Trek Discovery premiered September 24th, 2017. I watched it when it came out, but Star Trek wasn't part of our journey. We were just beginning to date. And so now, and Star Trek's not been part of her journey in a way, in a big way in her life, but I love it. And so recently introduced her to Star Trek Discovery. She loves science fiction. She loved it. We've been watching the show. And for those of you, you Star Trek purists who just want the 1960s stuff, just go away. Go away. I loved Captain Janeway and Voyager. I love Deep Space Nine. I really love Star Trek Discovery. Strange New Worlds is absolutely phenomenal. Anson Mount as Captain Pike is just phenomenal. So if you're like, oh, this isn't quite right, this parsec and this date and this star date, go away. I just love the good storytelling. So anyways, we watch Star Trek Discovery and the screen is black and there's space stuff and the background of what we're watching is black, and then space stuff comes in, and our TV, it just feels like you're in the movies. It's incredible. We got the popcorn and it sounds perfect and it looks beautiful and the screen is huge like you're in a movie theater, when we're sitting on our couch, because the distance of the couch to the TV. And one of the things I miss that I just haven't been able to find around here is having some M&M peanuts with my popcorn as if I'm in a theater, or some Red Vines if I'm in a theater. And I opened up one on my gift card this morning, and it was some boxes of M&Ms and some boxes of Red Vines. And so in January, we're going to take some little bit of a break. It's been a busy holiday season. We'll probably watch some episode Discovery a couple evenings in a row, and I'm going to be enjoying popcorn and M&Ms and Red Vines. It was a simple gift, but it absolutely blessed the socks out of me. And if you're coming to Puerto Vallarta and you want to bring me gifts, I will take the Marzetta martini olives soaked in vermouth, and they say martini olives on them. I don't want big Marzetta olives. I want the Marzetta big, I'll put a picture up so you don't get it wrong, martini olives soaked in vermouth. Or I would take some M&Ms with peanuts or some Red Vines. Those are all fun things you can smuggle in for me. I think you can bring them okay. I don't know. Zach and Nora brought them in from America and they did okay. So the fifth Christmas story I have for you before we get to Nash the Wonder Dog, one last preamble, a gift that Zach and Nora gave me. So the preamble is my wife and I took a really fun trip to Europe this past April. We started off in the south of France visiting my dear friends Arthur and Brian. We ended in Copenhagen in Denmark. Nora was taking a semester of school there. I tell you, Copenhagen is an incredible city. Denmark is an incredible country. I hope to get to go back to Denmark and Copenhagen. There's some other cities I want to visit there. Just a wonderful, wonderful place. I think I'm going to do some podcasts, Culinary Treasure podcasts early this year from people I met, both in Copenhagen and in France and in Barcelona, because our middle stop, I mentioned we started in France and ended in Copenhagen, but our middle stop is the city of Barcelona. And I tell you, my wife's one of her favorite European cities. I'd never been. I loved Barcelona. And I mentioned how much I love gin. I love gin and tonics. And I noticed that a lot of the cocktail bars had this special shaped, gin and tonic glass. And I'd never seen those before, hadn't encountered them, hadn't been part of my journey. When you look at the different cocktail glasses at Fred Meyer there in the Pacific Northwest, I'd never seen this shape of gin and tonic glass. And by the way, if you go to Barcelona and you love gin or you love gin and tonics, go to Bobby Gin. They are a phenomenal cocktail bar, a gin cocktail bar. They do a traditional gin and tonic. They do some whimsy fun gin and tonics, and they do some other gin cocktails that are incredible. I wrote a Culinary Treasure article about them. I'll put a link to that down below. And it looks like I might be able to do a Culinary Treasure podcast with one of the people that helped start that bar later this year. So I'm super excited about that. So anyways, I fell in love with these gin and tonic glasses, special shape. I open up a gift Christmas morning, and there is a box, a set of 4 of these amazing gin and tonic glasses. I'll put a picture up, and I'm just so excited when we get to the indoor season that we spend like 20 minutes outside, October, September, October, and it's hotter than heck, and a gin and tonic just sounds perfect. I'm going to enjoy those glasses tremendously. So thank you so much, Zach and Nora. 2 different gifts that really were special to me, very meaningful to me. All right, last thing I have for you, Nash the Wonder Dog. Nash is a 10-year-old Italian Greyhound, half Chihuahua, half Italian Greyhound dog. How that happened, that's a mystery for the ages. No one understands or knows. But Nash is part of my wife Casey's family for 10 years. She kind of unexpectedly ended up with Nash, and he quickly became part of the family when he was a very, very young puppy. He's been part of my life for the past 8 years, and he made the journey with us. He rode in the car with us from PDX, as I say, to PVR from Portland down to Puerto Vallarta. And he is just a wonderful part of our family. And I thought, it's time to start including Nash. I'm going to feature him occasionally in the Puerto Vallarta, YouTube channel and Facebook page, Instagram account. And just for fun, I did recently put up Nash the Wonder Dog Facebook page and Nash the Wonder Dog Instagram account. It's just, I love having Instagram accounts for things. It's a quirky part of who I am, but I love it. So anyways, I mentioned Bob and Joan. They are neighbors of ours from Canada. They live half the year here in Puerto Vallarta area. They live half the year up in Canada. They live on Vancouver Island, not Vancouver, the city, which is straight up I-5 from Portland, but Vancouver Island. And I do have some dear friends out in Vancouver Island. A shout out to all of you. I still want to get back out that way and enjoy food and beverages with you and see your Vancouver Island through your eyes. And I'll probably see Bob and Joan hopefully when I'm out there. But Bob and Joan, half the year here, half the year there. They're a wonderful couple. They had Lefties, an iconic restaurant in the Victoria, Vancouver Island, Canada area. And they recently retired. Joan is an incredible baker, an incredible chef. I love it when she knocks on my door and gives me baked goods. It's just perfect, makes my heart sing. Bob makes amazing cocktails and he's kind and he's always now looking for good culinary stories for me. So just before Christmas, Joan knocked on our door and she had a Christmas outfit for Nash. I was like, are you kidding me? Will he put it on? Will he wear it? Will he let me take photos of it? And sure enough, and I'll put the photos up here, we got some Christmas photos of Nash in that outfit. It was so much fun. There's a really cool story with Nash, about Nash, and really cool stories I have about Nash. The first time Nash and I ever met is a great story. So lots of good stories about Nash. I'll be eventually putting those on the Nueva Vida Puerto Vallarta YouTube channel. But it's time to start talking about Nash, Nash the Wonder Dog. And Nash is absolutely wonderful. All right, it's time to bring this video to a close. It has been so great visiting with you. A special shout out to my front seat friends. My front seat friends are people who have called shotgun and metaphorically ride the front seat with me on this epic journey that I'm on. And I know some of you have just been new being a front seat friend the past couple months. Some of you have been around for years, so it's great to chat with you. And if you're brand new around here, welcome. I'd love to have you join the journey. Like I said, I'm on an epic journey and I love to have people go along. Just want to offer you a word of encouragement. I hope your 2026 is absolutely fantastic. I've got a really good content and projects coming. I've already mentioned one of them already, celebrating Puerto Vallarta. Still working on my Spanish pronunciations and getting my accent down properly. So a lot of fun projects coming. Hope you have a wonderful 2026. Cheers, everybody.